I wanted to sit down and make a video today to talk about my investment goals and my investment strategies for the upcoming few years, but also for the long term, so decades to come. I wanted to make this video for a few reasons. The first one being to open a discussion in the comment section below. So this can be about your own investment plans or your own investment strategies. So definitely leave a comment if you want to. And I also wanted to just show new beginners that they too can have an investment plan for the future and they can begin working on that plan as soon as possible. Lastly, I wanted to make this video to hold myself accountable, whether that be in years to come or in the next few months, whatever that may be. But I want to be able to look back, update it as necessary, and just see whereabouts I am on my journey to getting where I want to get to. My first overarching sort of zoomed out goal is to build an investment portfolio that will allow me two things. The first thing is to be able to retire early. So when I say retire, I don't mean to stop working altogether. I just mean to stop trading my time for money. So to be able to live a comfortable life, but be able to work on things that I find enjoyable and things that I want to work on. Basically, I want to invest to get myself some of that nice financial freedom that people on YouTube keep promising me. The second point really relates to the first in a way, but I want to put my money that I earn to work. So I want to try and beat inflation as much as possible, and I don't want to be in a position in the future where I have to rely on the state pension. And I made a video about the state pension recently, so check that out somewhere on the screen if you're interested. So with that said, let's first talk about my short-term investment plans. My main short-term priority, but this one also does extend to the future, is to educate myself. So to really learn everything that I can and absorb all the information I can about personal finance, financial freedom and investing, and then in turn help educate other people through this channel. I really enjoy learning about these topics, so it doesn't really feel like work to me. And I just think the more that I can learn, the better the investor I will become, just like with anything in life. I want to invest in myself, I suppose, which is a substantial part of my investment plans. The next part of my short, immediate term investment plan is that I want to increase my income and I want to increase my income sources. Right now I'm learning new skills and gaining new qualifications which will help me do this in the future, which I suppose again is investing in myself. I want to increase my income, my main source of income, because that way it will allow me to have more leftover money after bills and everything like that's paid to actually invest. Obviously, the more money you put into investment, typically the higher the return you'll get on that investment. If you're going to put £100 into a stock and you get 8% return, if you put £200 and you get 8% return, obviously you're going to get more money. That's a given. So that is my first aim, to really increase that income so I can have more money for investing. Also, I want to increase my income sources. So I want to diversify where my income is coming from, because that way obviously I'll gain more money, but also the risk will reduce. So if I'm not reliant on one income, then that's a really good thing, because if one income gets wiped away, I should have others. That's the aim anyway. The next thing I really want to work on is to reduce my living costs as much as possible. So I'm not about to eat cold beans every day. So this one for me won't look like extreme couponing or not ever traveling, but I'm also not about to go and spend and buy loads of shoes I just don't need. Again, the point in this one is just to really increase the amount of money I have left over to invest. This is something that I pretty much do anyway, but I do plan to continue doing it and really watching what I'm spending, but not to the level where I am unhappy. I don't like to do that. I don't really like wasting money anyway, so this one is something that I should be able to do pretty easy. So these points really come down to the fact that I want more money coming in, less money going out, leaving more money to put into my investment plans. So the next thing I really want to do, and the next part of my investment portfolio, is to get onto the property ladder. Now, this one is not something I necessarily want to do in the next year or so, nor is something that I perhaps am ready to do in the next year or so, but it's definitely something that I want to do in my sort of 5-year plan. So I will begin looking into a LISA and just other ways that I can budget money ready for that. The eventual plan is to have a second property as an income source, but right now I don't know loads about that and I don't know loads about property in general, so I just need to educate myself in preparation for that. So I wouldn't say that having a second property as an income source is something that I'll be doing in the next 7 years. It's going to be more long term. Right, so let's get back to investing. So my goal is to invest as much as humanly possible for me. I want to be able to max out my ISA year on year, but until I'm able to do that, I'm just going to invest as much as I can. I plan to continue to invest in my ISA, which I currently have on Vanguard, into those passive index funds and ETFs. If you're interested in checking out my Vanguard portfolio as it stands right now, then check out the playlist. I do monthly updates on my portfolio. My plan is to leave this alone really, keep investing into it and letting it grow over years and years, just so it can really balance out all those little short-term dips in the market. I also currently have a free trade portfolio where I invest in individual stocks. At the moment, this is a small percentage of what I have available to invest, just because as a beginner, I think that those index funds, those passive investments are probably best, but I do have fun on investing in individual stocks, and over time, I do think this will become a bigger piece of my portfolio. I also make free trade portfolio updates, so I'll leave the playlist here for you if you want to check that out. I invest in individual stocks that I believe are the future. So for me, that would be the likes of Tesla, for example. So I guess you could say that my individual stock investing is my growth portfolio. However, I do also see Tesla as a really long-term investment stock for me. If I get into the position in the future where I have more money to invest in individual stocks, then I may have to rethink how I'm actually doing that in terms of taxes, because right now I have my ISA on Vanguard, which is where I invest in my index funds. And then I have my free trade portfolio where I invest in individual stocks, and obviously there's capital gains tax, and it might make more sense in the future for my whole portfolio to be on a different platform, but not going to concern myself with that for now. Another area of my investment plan right now and going forward is cryptocurrency. I do believe that cryptocurrency will be the future, so I want to keep investing in this portfolio and growing it over time. Eventually, I would like some commodities and bonds in my portfolio too, but I don't know what that's going to look like at the moment. I would also like to get in the position where I have a little bit of money set aside that I can do some more reactive investments. So if something new pops up and I'm really interested, I can put some money into that straight away and be a very early investor. Just like all those years ago that lucky person bought some Bitcoin and now they're sitting on a beach in the sun enjoying their life. Well, maybe that's not the reality for most of us, but I definitely would like some money aside just ready to put into investments that pop up here and there. That will only be a small amount of money because obviously having too much cash is never a good idea with inflation. Let me know your investment plans and your investment goals in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.